Hello and welcome. My name is Salazar-Turner, and this is the first episode of our brand new UpRock Podcast. I'm extremely excited to get this project off the ground. Our goal here with this podcast is to speak with different musicians and artists and other people in the industry to help create more of a community awareness about what's going on in the artistic world. Since we're still getting our feet wet with this whole thing, we're only going to be releasing 2 podcasts a month. That means the next one will be coming in 2 weeks. But without further ado, let's get right into this episode. First, I'll be speaking with the featured artists of our other new series, the UpRock Sessions. After that, I'll sit down with one of our maintenance guys to talk about some simple guitar maintenance things you can do at home. After that, we'll check in with our CEO, Grayson to see what's going on around the studio, and then we'll finish today's episode with an interview with our featured UpRock Teacher of the Month. So let's hit it. UpRock Sessions is a new video series that we've started that'll feature one band or artist per month via a live performance in our studio as well as an interview. For this first one, we have 2 gentlemen who call themselves, well, the Gentlemen. So let's listen to part of my interview with these guys. I'm here in the studio with the Gentlemen, and the gentlemen are, well, gentlemen, can you introduce yourselves, please?
Yes.
What are your names?
My name is Benjamin.
Benjamin what?
Benjamin Rivas.
All right.
My name is Jacob Alexander.
All right. Awesome. So how old are you guys?
I'm 25, just turned 25.
Oh, cool.
Virgo.
21.
21. Oh,
Finally.
very nice.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah. Well, how did it all start? How did you guys meet?
We're actually cousins.
Yeah, we're cousins. We're family.
Yeah.
So you guys have just always known each other.
Yeah. We've been doing stuff
We got
since.
Crazy stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so when did you start doing music together?
Like officially, like instruments and writing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was 17. I forgot how old you were.
I was like 9. Well, what, 9 when I came out here, right?
Yeah, it's like 4 years ago.
I was like, yeah, it's been like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Doing it like together,
Yeah.
writing together and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, so what do each of you? What do you play? What can you do musically? What do you like to do musically,
Can we go first?
individually?
I started off with guitar and songwriting, so like I didn't even try practicing like vocals or anything until like it's like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So my main thing was guitar at first. I was really into like all those like great guitarists like Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all those people.
Yeah.
Got into writing songs and stuff and composing and things like that, and then.
For me, I started out singing just like, hearing the music that I was raised, because I was raised in soul. We were raised in soul, Motown, like, oldies, Smokey Robinson,
Yeah.
Temptations, and
The good stuff.
Yes, that stuff, Sam Cooke, all those good.
Yeah.
I was too small to realize and appreciate the music until I got to a certain age.
Well, sure.
And then I was like, this stuff's good. So I started, just singing along, and then eventually picked up the piano.
Yeah.
And then learned the piano, picked up the guitar, and then just kind of added that all with the singing, and just started going out there and trying to do an open mic. I remember my first open mic, I was nervous and sweating, and it was outside in the winter, and I was still sweating.
Brutal.
So that just tells you how nervous I was.
Right.
Yeah.
But
right.
but yeah.
A lot of energy.
Yeah.
Giving it all off.
Exactly.
Well,
so
how did that go? That first open mic.
that I remember it was I was in LA at an internship,
Okay.
and so they had like this little art day, and it was an open mic, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Practiced all week, and scared out of my mind. It went good.
That's good.
Us as artists, we beat each other up. We beat ourselves up after
course,
the
of
performance.
We're our own worst critics.
Yes, so
That's how it works.
But anyways, it was good. It was good. It was
That's
a good
very
breakthrough.
good.
Yeah.
Well, so was that open mic your first performance? Or like ever?
Well, I used to be I started out as a dancer.
Oh.
Breakdancing. I used to do the couples.
Very cool.
And I did that for a long time since I was about 11. So I was on the stage for that reason. But I always deep down said I wanted to be a performing musician.
Yeah.
So.
Nice, very nice. You got the spirit in you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now you guys play together.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
The Gentlemen. So that's the name of your guys' duo group.
Yeah,
is the
correct.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
So where does that name come from? I mean, it's a very simple name. The
Yeah,
Gentlemen.
yeah.
You are 2
Yeah,
gentlemen, so you
for
are
sure.
the Gentlemen. But
Thank
like,
you.
what does it mean? Where did it come from?
I think we've always kind of been brought up in that like very like strict kind of like mind your manners and kind of thing, and since we were young we were taught like just the right way to respect people, treat people and stuff. So I know when I started writing, a lot of that was kind of just like very, I don't know, almost like respectful. Like my songs are all like love songs, so obviously they're all like in that gentlemanly way, and especially I feel like today there's not much of that.
Yeah.
So it's very like, I don't know, it's very different. And
Yeah.
as simple as it is,
You're right.
Yeah.
You said all your songs are love songs.
Yeah.
Are they all like for people? Did they come from your experiences? Like,
At first, when I was, because I started writing when I was like 16, they came from a place where I was like, I wonder if this is what it's like, you know? And then, once I started getting into relationships, like the songs that I play nowadays are pretty much all written about somebody or people.
Cool.
So yeah, definitely come from real experiences.
So you're very, very feel-based. You go by what you feel because, I mean, a lot of the music, the context is driven by feels.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
And that helps, I feel like that helps get that, like, the soul aspect out of the music because you can feel it so much when you're playing it that you kind of just hope other people can feel it that same way.
Right. Right. Well, so what would you define your genre as? I know that there are so many genres. It's 2017, and it's really hard to like label yourself as one thing. But what would you call yourself?
You know, I want to say R&B soul, but.
Well, why not say it then?
Because
there's so
you
many
look up
other
R&B soul nowadays, and you know it's very for me the way I know R&B soul, it was Smokey Robinson, like Brian McKnight, you know, Usher's back in the day stuff, like
sure,
you know what I mean. So a lot of that is what inspired me to do this type of music.
And you call that R&B soul?
I call that R&B soul.
I think a lot of people would agree with you there.
For sure, yeah.
And so. If that's what inspires it, then you can go ahead and call it that.
Yeah, for sure. It's just nowadays, you know, like you said, you know, and not to knock any artist or anything like that, but there is music that is under genres where you're almost like it's just it's crazy how they can be mixed in the same genre when you feel like, wait, but I thought this was
like the Grammys. You see like who won Rock Album of the Year, and you're like, I didn't know that was rock. You know, like, just kind of things like that.
Yeah,
kind of all over the place now.
But evolving is the way we. You know,
that's how evolution works.
Exactly. Sure.
Okay.
But,
well, so there's one genre. What else? Or is that just it?
You know, I don't know. I've never really put myself in a. Honestly, when someone asks me, I say soul music. That's the only way that I can really say.
Okay. And then under that, there's like the acoustic soul. There's like a pop style soul.
Yeah.
There's the R&B. There's blues. There's jazz. There's a lot of the different elements that really. I think especially because I have my influences that he doesn't have, and then he has his influences I don't have.
Right.
So when we write together, it can kind of be anything. It can be something you can groove to. It can be like a ballad. It can be there's a lot of different. Just all over the place. So.
And that's a wonderful thing about playing in a duo is that the two. Participants can really balance each other out. So how do your duo dynamics work for you guys? How does that go?
I think he definitely has like the really good ideas for like the rhythms and things like that, like the soul aspects, and I just love writing. So I'll even give him like a song that has way too many words, and he'll go through it and kind of like oh yeah, we can use that. Let's take out this word. Let's take out that word. Kind of make it sound better. But I just love just writing things.
Well, can I put you guys on the spot?
Yeah.
For sure.
Can you guys play us a little something?
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's see.
We have
Fire and Wind or
Fire and Wind.
Are you how back?
We can go moving too fast, but do you remember that's the hardest
That's
thing.
The only thing. There's songs that we used to play back then. I don't know, you as a musician, you have those songs where you're like, how did it go again?
Oh no, that happens all the time. All the time.
Yeah. But
there are a lot of songs out there,
Yeah.
Exactly. And when you're writing all the time and you're like, wait, did I use that? Like, it gets.
Yeah. We got one. Fire and Wind. Yeah. This one's it's got a bluesy, soulful. It's called Fire and Wind.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire and wind, you pulled me close, with 1 second left to look in your eyes. With a grip so strong, I couldn't refuse, no, only to find your lips on the other side. Said I know it's hard to find, finally realized that love is just a one kiss away. Baby, let me show you what it means to simply adore you. Show you things I'm sure you've never seen yet. Gonna kiss you on your neck, rub my hands up down your back, baby. Baby, let them butterflies fly. Yeah. Said I know it's hard to find, yeah. Finally realized that love is just a one kiss away. So, baby, let me show you what it means to simply adore you. Show you things I'm sure you never seen, yeah. Said I know it's hard to find. Finally realized that love is just a one kiss away. Baby, let me show you what it means to simply adore you. I'll show you things I'm sure you never seen. Gonna kiss you on your neck, yeah. Show you things I'm sure you've never seen. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Love is just one kiss away. Love is just one kiss away, yeah.
More of this interview can be heard as well as seen in the UpRock Sessions video, which you can find at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/UpRock Studios. But now let's switch gears a little bit. When it comes to learning an instrument, a lot of us spend a lot of time, countless hours even, learning how to make different sounds and notes and expressions come out of an instrument. But one thing that seems to be forgotten is how to care for and maintain an instrument. To help shed some light on the subject, I brought in one of our maintenance guys to have a chat. Grayson was there as well. Let's have a listen. So we have here Dare. He wants to just go by Dare.
Correct.
It's his nickname. It's short for something, but don't worry about what that's short for. And so, Dare, I have a few questions for you regarding instrument maintenance, but more specifically guitar.
Okay.
But first, I want to know about you and why you wanted to get into guitar maintenance in the first place.
Guitar maintenance. Well, I got into working on guitars because I'm a left-handed player. And being left-handed, it was difficult to find instruments of a higher quality. So I started doing some research and thought, well, I'll just build my own. And from there and from there it just really kind of blossomed into this real passion for taking care of instruments and upgrading not only my own instruments but everybody else's that I come in contact with.
It came from necessity.
It did, and that's always the mother of invention for sure.
So what do you like to do the most when it comes to working on guitars? What's your favorite thing to do to toy around with?
Electronics. I like doing the routing the wires, doing different pickup combinations, doing different switching combinations, adding different features that make maybe the switching invisible, like push-pull pots or
those are cool.
Something along those, or rewiring the switch in a certain way where you get different sounds that you wouldn't normally get.
Right.
Maybe from the factory wiring.
Right.
Kind
of course. Have you done that with any like effect pedals?
I have modified a few effects pedals.
Nice.
Changing out diodes or
Right.
capacitor or resistor values to get
Right.
different tones. Just really experimenting with that. That's really the most fun, and I would say the least fun for me would be finishing work. Literally waiting for paint to dry.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. So you have you've done some setting up of guitars for us here at UpRock.
Yes.
But what can the listeners at home, the guitarists at home that maybe don't know much about maintenance or regular care, what can they do? What are some basic things they can do to prolong the life of their instrument or just to make sure it's always operating at tip-top shape?
Two very important things that I would say that are really easy. They have to have no technical savvy or use any tools would be to keep it in a case if you're not playing it.
It's very important.
Or a gig bag.
At least a gig bag.
At least a gig bag or a case when you're not using it, and don't leave it in your car on a hot day or a cold day. If
overnight.
You're gonna overnight, anything like that, just keep it in a climate controlled area as long as you can, as often as you can.
Yes.
Don't leave it out in the garage. Don't leave it outside.
Especially not outside.
Especially for acoustic players, but the guitar's made of wood and it's going to expand and contract, and the strings and the wood do it at different rates, and that can cause some very difficult repairs long term.
Right.
If you leave the guitar out, so put it away when you're done playing with it.
Right. It can cause very bad tuning and intonation issues, and those are fun.
You can warp the neck or delaminate certain sections of whether it's the neck to the body, if it's glued together, or other parts of the guitar, and those can be very costly repairs.
Yeah, I've seen some warped necks, and they're the worst.
They're difficult, if not impossible, to fix, depending on the type of guitar.
Right.
And that would be my number one. Would be a number one tip for everybody.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I've got some students who they always kind of ask, well, how often should I change my strings? And they're kind of fighting the tone that they get and doling out. And based on your experiences, what would you say would be? Because it also depends on how often you play.
True.
But what would be maybe your general rule of thumb on some of that?
My general rule of thumb, I mean, because we play all the time, I usually go and change my strings every quarter. But I have several guitarists to choose from, so they're not always getting played. If you have one guitar and you're playing a lot, at least once a month, I don't like playing on new strings. I find them they don't have that slinky feel to them. So
once you break them in, they feel a
little bit better. Some people like that because it's you get a little bit of a brighter tone out of the guitar.
It's more defined.
And when they're kind of more in, they react a little bit different. But
they do.
I
All
mean,
the gunk from your fingers gets in there.
I mean, the instrument's a unit, so all the stuff has to work together in harmony to really, really sound good. I mean, if you don't have calluses on your fingers, your notes are going to be kind of weird. Where you fret on the guitar, it's going to sound a little bit different. But I would say general rule of thumb, if you're playing the one guitar a lot and you're practicing at least once a month, and strings are relatively inexpensive. You can get them online these days,
and multi-packs even.
Yeah, bulk.
And that's really a cost saver. And most of your local stores, they usually have sales at certain holiday times where you can get 10 sets for $20 or something along those lines. And don't be cheap, guitar players. And I know I did this too when I was a beginner. You break one string, high E string or B string, or the G string. You break or any of the strings. You break, and you have the pack, and you just change the one so you can keep practicing. It's change them all. It gives you the opportunity to clean the fretboard.
That's a good point.
And kind of just wipe all the gunk that you're kind of laying down on the fretboard, and the dust that collects underneath the strings in between the pickups. Or if it's acoustic guitar, you can have that opportunity to get that wayward pick that's in the sound hole that you can't get out or whatever.
Those picks that are lost in oblivion.
Exactly. So go through. You bought all 6 of them, just change all 6. Or if you have 7 or 8 or 10 or however many strings your guitar has.
However many strings.
Change them all. Don't just change the one. The guitar will sound better for it, and you'll be happier for it. Because if you got an older set and then one breaks and you change just the one's going to be tight and bright, and the other ones are going to be slinky and thuddy. And so just change them all.
All right. Well, Dare does guitar maintenance for us here at UpRock, and we'll be speaking to him again for more tips and tricks on maintenance and care. Dare, thanks for speaking with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Bring your guitars in, and we'll get them all tuned up for you.
So now let's check in with Grayson, our CEO. He's going to give us some updates on what's going on around the studio. Grayson?
Hey, how's it going? There's a lot going on this month here at UpRock. Of course, we had the UpRock sessions with the gentlemen, which went really, really well. It was a lot of fun. We also have a student concert coming up next month on Sunday, March 19th. It's going to be 90s themed, so it's going to feel very nostalgic for some of us who grew up in the 90s. And current students, if you've got friends of yours that would like to participate in these events or do music lessons, we've got a referral program. If you sign up one of your friends for a month of lessons, you can get a month of lessons for free. So it's a great way to save some cash and get all your friends in here. And for all of you new students, the first lesson is free. You can come on by, meet the instructors, see what we're all about, and really get a feel for how we like to do things here at UpRock. And speaking of being here at UpRock, we do have some empty wall space that could really, really use a lot more color. So we are officially reaching out to all of you painters, photographers, just visual artists of any kind. If you are interested in having some of your art featured here at UpRock, please contact us on our Facebook page or at uprockstudios@gmail.com for more information. Each month, we will be doing a teacher feature, which will highlight one of our instructors, and we're going to pair that up with a little special promo offer. This month is Drum Month, and our offer is buy 3 drum lessons, get 1 free for new students only. And we're going to be focusing on our brand new drum instructor, Stixx.
Stixx, he's a great guy. We're really happy to have Stixx around, aren't we?
Absolutely. He's always a lot of fun. He's really funny.
Yeah, he is. That guy's a hoot.
Yeah,
that guy
great
is
to have
such a
around.
hoot. All right. Well, thank you, Grayson.
Thank you.
Well, as Grayson said, we are highlighting our featured teacher of the month, so of course I brought in Stixx for an interview. When I sat down with him, I didn't expect our conversation would go so long, but it turns out we're both pretty long-winded and we both have a lot to say. So between this podcast and the next, you'll hear 2 different segments of the interview. Here's the first one. So we're in here in the studio with Stixx. Stixx, say hi.
Hello. What up? What up?
So, Stixx, you go just by Stixx.
Well, my mother calls me Stixx.
Your mother why does your mother call you Stixx?
She's been calling me that for a while. It was a nickname that my cousin gave me, and I ran with it.
Does it have to do with drums? Or?
Well, I feel it has to do with the size of my arms because I've been struggling to get swole, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't happen the way that I want it to. But yeah, I've always thought since I was a kid, you watch these VHS tapes because back when I was coming up, there was VHS tapes. Okay, every drummer,
medium.
Yeah, every drum video, every drummer had a stick bag full of sticks.
Right.
And to me, I associated that with good. So I'm like, if you have a bag full of sticks,
right,
you're automatically good. You don't even have to practice. So I showed up to church one day, and I had my stick bag open like they do on the DVDs.
Right.
Or back then VHS. And my cousin walked up like, Stixx! Because he looked at the bag first.
Right, and just said Stixx.
And it Stixx. And
there
that
was
it. That's what it was.
Nice. So how long have you been playing drums?
Professionally, I should say more seriously, 3 weeks. I've been playing since I was a kid, but I didn't start taking it serious until about, honestly, eight years ago.
Okay.
8 years ago is when that's when you take it serious. Like, practice on a regular, learn my craft, because I grew up playing in church, so I just played for the kids' choir.
Right.
And in my opinion, that doesn't count as far as taking it serious, because I didn't practice at all. I just show up, play the song, and I leave. It was the best $21.64 I've ever made in my life.
Total?
No, per service. Per service. No, it wasn't.
Okay.
That'd be awful. So,
you'd be keeping really good track if it was.
Yeah, no.
Was it $21.64? Is that what you said?
Every check.
Every check was $21.64.
21. I don't even ask me how they got the number. I just know it was $21.64. And then when I was 14, they gave me a pay raise, and I thought I was balling.
What was the raise?
$23.09. I was like, oh man, we winning. So
there was even a zero in there. So
exactly, I felt like I was on top of the world. Like, you don't understand.
How old were you when that was happening?
I turned 14 when they gave me the pay raise.
Oh man,
I started playing at 6. So,
wow.
At a 6-year-old, I kind of understand. $20 is everything to me. You know what I mean? $21.64, whatever. But $20 is everything to a 6-year-old because you can get all the candy in the world.
Right. No concept of money.
No concept
of real world money.
But I've been seriously playing. I would say 8 years.
So, well, who got you into it? Like, who are some of your favorite drummers, or who inspired you to get into drums? Like, why drums of all instruments?
I was forced as a child.
Oh wow.
I was forced. I used to beat on stuff.
Okay.
But my dad is a musician. He's a bass player, and he brought a drum set home, and he said, "You're gonna play it, or you're in trouble." And I was like, "What?" So I played it, and he forced me to take drum lessons from 5 to 11. Of course, like the average child's story,
Right.
I didn't practice.
Of course.
I didn't take it serious. I hated it. That's why he stopped paying when I was 11.
Right.
And it took another 10 plus years for me to be like, all right, this is it. But he basically forced me as a second option in life. Just like, here's an opportunity. I did Taekwondo as a kid.
Okay.
I did sports as a kid and music. So he's like, hey, whatever you decide to do, just know you have multiple options.
Right.
And so that's why he forced me to play. I have some horror stories, but I'm not even gonna. We're not gonna dive into it. I love my father. Thank you, Dad, for forcing me to play the drums
because now you're making actual money doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was many nights of tears, okay, on the drums. Like,
right.
You don't play. I'm like, no.
Man, oh
but
man.
I thank my father for doing that.
So, what was the first drum beat that you learned? Just the standard drum beat?
Standard. It was Floor on the Floor.
Okay.
Sister Bontemps. That's her name. That was the choir director for the kids choir at the church that I was at. And she was scary. She was mean. And what she used to do, she used to stomp every song really loud.
So actually on the floor.
4 on the floor. Like you got to keep up. Like straight 4 on the floor. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
That's it. So that was the first beat that I knew how to play with hi-hat, kick, and snare. Because everybody can do, like when I was a kid, especially before 3, maybe 4 years old, I can do right and left hand, but I didn't have the coordination to be able to play a beat. So it'd be like floor time and snare and just ding, 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 ka, ka, ding, ka, ding.
Just all separate.
Yeah, it wasn't no coordination at all.
Well, could you play it real quick, just as an example?
The 4 on the floor?
Yeah, sure, right. Just as an example.
The kid way or the adult way?
Both.
Okay, here's how you sound as a kid. It was like. See, and so like everything, everything's straightforward, but there's no intensity to it. There's no. It's all softness. There's no loud playing. There's no aggressiveness.
No dynamic shift.
No nothing.
Right.
No ghost notes. No eighth notes on the hi-hat.
Just 4 on the floor.
4 on the floor, matching the right hand with the foot.
Right.
Hitting the middle of the snare instead of the rim shot. So now as an adult, you got a little bit more flavor to it.
I think the adult version is much better. Much more mature, much more aged, much more refined.
A little bit more flavor to it, huh?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, Stixx, this has been a wonderful conversation.
Oh, appreciate you for having me, sir. And I thought you was going to make me play more. Thank you for not embarrassing me on this podcast.
Well, we're not done yet.
No, you was about to call it. That's it. Like, thank you. I only had to play the 4 on the floor joint. That was cool, man. And the little 16th note on the snare, groove, whatever. Thank you, man.
Well, I was actually wondering, hoping if you could play us out.
Oh, you mean like? That's
well,
all
I mean,
got.
That's definitely out.
No, that's out.
That's out.
Now I want you to play.
Now. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
I could play. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. All right. Okay. Well, Stixx teaches drums here at UpRock Studios, and this month of February is dedicated to him. So if you would like to come take lessons here at UpRock, then you can study with Stixx.
Yes.
And Stixx, thank you for having this conversation with me.
Oh, thank you for having me, sir. And I will try not to suck on this drum thing that I'm about to do here.
Oh, just make it up.
Well, that's
improvise a little.
That's usually where we start to suck as drummers, when we start improvising.
Well, I guess we'll see. Stixx, everybody.
Okay, here we go.
And that will do it for this first episode of the UpRock Podcast. From all of us here, thank you for listening.